Hello, welcome to Forest Focus. As Nottingham Forest head into the final weekend of another Whirlwind season, as has been the case since 2022-23, when the Reds won promotions to Premier League. With that in mind, it's great to be joined by the man who lifted the playoff final trophy at Wembley to give us his view on Forest's massive game against Chelsea and reflect on his time at the City Ground. Former Reds captain Joe Worrall, how are you today?
Good afternoon. Yeah, all good, Matt. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Looking forward to catching up with you. Looking forward to talking about this Chelsea game in particular. I mean, we recorded this morning our match preview and said it's pretty mental that Forest are potentially 90 minutes away from the Champions League. When you were coming through the academy and playing in teams, even struggling in the Championship, could you have envisioned this situation or not?
No, absolutely not. It's funny because even at the start of this season, you think the lads have done so well to have 2 years staying in the Premier League because of how tough the division is. So to be even floating about in the top half of the table in your third year's an achievement in itself. Never mind be 7th, 6th, 5th in the league, third for a long, long time throughout this season. But it's one of those where we're riding that wave very much like we were when we got promoted. You just roll the same teams being rolled out every time. You're really used to your surroundings, who's playing next to you. I think the continuity has been really good this year with team selection. And it just shows if you've got somebody who can put the ball in the net and a fella who can keep it out, then you're looking good.
Can you give us a bit of an insight? I asked Ryan Yates this question as well when he came on about playing in the Premier League versus playing in the Championship, especially playing top-end Premier League teams or any Premier League team, actually. How big a leap is it? How high is that quality? Can you believe it when you first step foot into the Premier League, how tough it is?
The old cliche is you just get punished. You're constantly aware that if you make a mistake and you give the ball away, you're not quite tight enough to your man, that you can just get punished. The players are that level up where they're quicker, they're stronger, they're a lot more experienced, and you have players who have come from all over the globe that have played in the top leagues, in World Cups, European Championships, all that kind of stuff, thrown into the mix in the biggest league of the world. So it is that level up, but at the same time, there are games where you play well and you think, yeah, I can compete at this level. I can do it. We can do it as a team. But then you soon get knocked down a peg or two when you get thumped 6-0 at City.
That was the game that Yates referred
to. Yeah, and Arsenal as well. But they're the kind of things that are great experiences, even though you're getting thumped and you're playing against some real good players, and you try not to make those mistakes again, as we didn't that year, the first year, where we get thumped away by them and then we take points off them at the City Ground. So it swings and roundabouts.
But I'd love to expand on that in a bit when you talk about your time at the City Ground. Just on this Chelsea game in particular, I want to get your insight on a couple of things. I mean, what will this week look like, do you think? Having played under Nuno for a while, how do you think he'll be approaching this week? The group will be approaching this week mentally going into a massive game for
them? He's super chilled, to be honest, Nuno. He's quite very steady, very level-headed. I know he's quite a big, imposing figure and looks quite scary, but he's quite calm and mild-mannered. So I think it'll just be much of the same. It'll be more the players that will be aware of what's at stake. I mean, there'll be some boys who have been there and done it and played in Europe and been around teams that have played in Europe. But Forest, for many years, we've been out of it. So it's a new leaf, a new chapter in the book that they can write for themselves. I mean, we saw Spurs do it last night, go so long without winning anything, to now talks are that they've got confidence, they're going to win trophies. It's given them that belief to go and win trophies and do that kind of stuff. So that hurdle of getting over, hopefully beating Chelsea and making it into the Champions League or Europa League or whatever it is massive for the club going forward, as it is every year. Staying in the Premier League is an achievement. Being in the top half is an achievement. But the financial and the boost that it's going to give the city and the club, if we can get up there, is going to be life-changing.
Have you messaged Brennan, by the way, out of curiosity?
I did. I messaged him yesterday morning before the game, just saying good luck, and just replied to his Instagram story with a thumbs up, and same again. He just put thumbs up back. So yeah, good. Like really pleased for him and the way he's been this year. He's scored some goals. He's a good player. He's quick. He's sharp. He knows where the goal is. His runs and the way. I mean, the goal last night. He's not even kicked it, has he? But he's made that run, darting run, and we see him do that all the time. It's never the spectacular with Brennan. It's always timing and the way he just knows where to be and where to arrive, which is strange because he's got the ability to put it in the top corner. It's just that he's got that nous, and which you can't teach. You've either got it or you haven't.
Yeah, I think he's got a really bad rap. I don't know if you follow what Spurs fans say around this thing. Oh, back post tapping merchant. I think that's great. I'd love to be a back post tapping merchant. It's crazy that he gets
fans are deluded, aren't they? As we know. So I think, especially Spurs fans, if they can't get excited about a lad who's tapping it in from 5 yards, then they're not going to get excited about much, are
they? Just going back to this Chelsea game, then. It's interesting that, you know, if we want to get in the Champions League, we've got to win. Does that change how you approach the game tactically, what your mindset is going into it, or not?
It's almost like a 6-pointer, really, isn't it? Kind of. I know it's like Chelsea are a good side. They've got some world-class players, but we've got boys who maybe have been out of form a little bit the last 6 weeks, but everything can change. I mean, we've coming off the back of a bit of a scrappy, horrible, long win against West Ham that was like nail biting from minute 95, 96 to 115, whatever it was. So I think we're in a good place. The club's in a good place. Speaking with Yates, he's very much eager to be involved from the get-go, but he understands that because of the type of players that we have at the club and the profile of players, that he's had to play a different role, and he's definitely somebody who'll be pumping them up and getting them ready for the game. It's going to be a difficult game, especially with the way Chelsea have been picking results up. I think at the start of the season, you didn't really fancy Chelsea to be up the top of the table where they are, but they have been. It just shows you the job that the manager's been doing there. So it'll be a game that I think the rest of the league will be looking at as well.
You said we throughout this interview. Were you watching that West Ham game very much as a fan, like you watch all the games now? Then,
yeah, I just like watching Yates, to be honest. Like Forest, I've always obviously liked Forest, but the identity of the team's completely different. All right, I played with Woody and Taiwo and a few of the boys there, but Yates is my boy, and he's. I just like it when he plays. I'm half tempted not to watch when he doesn't play, but I find myself watching anyway because if Forest's in your blood, it's very difficult to get rid of. But he's played a different role this year. Yates he's come off the bench. He's that man who's kind of like last 20 minutes you're winning or you need a goal. You put Yates on, you stick him on. He's a threat in both boxes. He's somebody who breaks up play well, and I'd be tempted to go with him on against Chelsea, but look, I'm not a manager, and Nuno's got the team at the top of the table, so I'll leave it to him.
Do you think he's underrated as a player then?
Massively. He's someone who you struggle to think words to describe him, really. The list goes on. He's humble, he's hardworking, he's someone who you'd want next to you if you're going into war. He's just that kind of bloke, and he has got talent. He's a talented boy. He's tidy with the ball. He's got a goal in him, but he's someone who constantly proves people wrong. Constantly, his self-belief is. I believe in myself massively and my ability, but he's a different level. The way he's got took setbacks in his stride and constantly proved managers wrong, proved fans wrong. Now he's rattling opposition fans. It's class like that. He'll feed off that as well. So it's he's somebody who, all right, if you're playing in Europe and whatever, you might say, I might have to play a different role like he has done this year. But at the same time, he knows that when his time's ready, he'll be ready. So he's somebody who I massively rate as a player.
I want to ask you as well, obviously, the club's got the proud history of academy players being in the squad, being on the bench at least. Obviously, you've moved on, Brennan's moved on. We've discussed Yatesy. Zach Abbott's the next in line at the moment. You'll have seen him play at Wembley as a centre half playing out of position. What do you make of him, and how much talent do you think he hopefully has to take us forward as a club?
Yeah, Zach's good. Zach's really good. He's someone who, again, is constantly talking to you in the canteen and on the training pitch about what you should eat, what you should do, what's your kind of like set up before a game, how you are. He's constantly asking questions, and that's what you want from young players. You don't want shy lads who are wouldn't say boo to a goose. You want someone to come in and be authoritative, and especially when you're a centre half. And he's a big lad as well. Zach, he's 6'1", 6'2", broad. He's quite heavy. Like he's a good player. So he's someone who will have a great career in the game. Who knows at what level? Might be a victim of Forest success with getting into a Premier League outfit, especially if they're getting into Europe. But he's someone who will go on to have a great career if he keeps on the straight and narrow and looks after himself and chucks his head in front of shots. Then I think he'll be all right.
Was that your mindset coming through? I remember you were in the Forest team quite early on. You did a couple of interviews where you spoke your mind. I assume you spoke your mind with teammates as well. Is that something that's always been prevalent in you as a person?
Yeah, I think I get that from my dad, to be honest. But no, I've always just thought, what's the point? You're here once, aren't you? You might as well take the opportunity and say what you think and say how you feel. What's the worst that can happen? If someone doesn't like it, then that's it. And we were very much taught that in the academy as well. Maybe not taught that, but you were taught to have a bit of personality. I mean, the manager when I was in the academy was Billy Davis, so you can't go up and be a shrinking violet with Billy. So and Andy Reid, you had Chris Cohen, you had all kinds of like big, strong men, personalities in the dressing room. And yeah, I might have rubbed some people up the wrong way, but I've done all right. So I'm no regrets.
One more to ask you about your Forest career a little bit more. One player you mentioned there, I think you mentioned Tyro's name. We've all seen obviously what happened to him. You've been in a dressing room with him. We don't know too much about him as a character because he seems quite quiet and just a really good all-round bloke. Is that your experience of him?
Yeah, Tyro's really nice. He's a very, very hardworking lad. He's always got a smile on his face. Very kind. He sat next door but one to me in the dressing room, so we spoke quite often. And he scored some key goals for us in that first year. I know he's struggled with injuries and he's quite a heavy, top heavy lad. So and being a striker as well, when you're exposed to tackles and sprints over long distances, so it takes a toll on your body. I know a lot of people think that he's injury prone, but it's difficult playing in the Premier League, especially up front. I mean, you come up against some big boys, and the numbers and the outputs per game are massive. So if you pick up one injury, it could lead to another and another. And the one the other week's just an absolute freak. I mean, he's tried his best to get on the end of it and clattered the post. And I know from speaking to various lads, he's doing okay. And just thankful that it's not super nasty, because at one point when he's going under the knife and the hospital, you're thinking it doesn't sound very good in a coma and things like that. But I'm sure the medical staff and the people at Forest know what they're doing, so I think he's in good hands.
Have you had that conversation within the game about the delayed VAR flags? Because it's bound to have happened to you, I'm sure. Players discussed it and thought, well, really, we need to change this rule because something bad could happen.
Yeah, but also we could score a goal. It's one of those.
Brennan against Leicester springs to mind.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those. I mean, the rule is what the rule is, and there's enough video and blooming automated stuff. I mean, in 20 years, 30 years, when I'm sat watching Forest in the gantry and whatever, I'm sure there'll be no refs and it'll all be automated and laser beams firing across the pitch. Like, how far do you go? So it's just one of those. I mean, how many have we had where somebody's ended up in hospital in a state like Tyro was as a result of somebody not putting the flag up? I mean, it's one of those that's so rare. there'll be plenty of goals that have been scored, and we wouldn't have moaned if Tyler would have tapped it in, missed the post by an inch. So it's one of those that any rational person will go, you've just got to take that one on the chin and hope that Elanga can stay on side next time.
Looking forward to a bit more about Joe's time at Forest in just one second. Before that, though, a reminder at the Trent Nav end of season party with a Fun Boy 2 free entry straight after the Chelsea game. 80s, 90s club classics, bangers, anthems, and floor fillers, which might be up Joe Worrall Street. I don't know, but it's free entry straight after the Chelsea game. Is that up your street? 80s, 90s club classic for bangers and floor fillers?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Sounds good. Better than the rap that we listen to in the changing rooms nowadays.
Right, let's talk more about your time at Forest then. I mean, I suppose we should go back to the season you got promoted. What I think I might have asked Steve Cook this. I don't know if I asked Yates yet. I mean, what changed to make that turnaround, get going? Is it as simple as just you get a few results and momentum builds, or what?
Yeah, it was that, and also I spoke earlier. Sticking with the same team. To be fair to Chris Hughton, he was quite pragmatic, and the way he approached the game suited me as a centre half. We weren't the best on the eye. We couldn't really score goals, but we didn't concede a lot, so that was fine by me in a sense. But also, you're looking around and thinking we've actually got some players there. We've got some good players, some good loan players, some good young talent coming up and through, and some boys who have been here a few years that know how to do it. So it was just a case of getting somebody in charge who could gel us, give us that belief and confidence, give me and Yatesy that little bit of go on then, like you boys have been here a while, go and tell them how to do. Grabs as well, being the club captain that season was massive for us, scored some great goals for us. And then you go into Bristol City away and scoring 2 in 90 seconds and getting results from here, there and everywhere. January comes around, you're signing Keenan Davis, Sam Surridge, you're signing players who add a little bit of spark as well to the team. And before you know it, you're in the hunt for automatics, which after 7-8 games of the season, you're thinking, be happy to stay up. And then you're beating Fulham with a couple of games to go and losing out to Scott Parker's Bournemouth. And that was the whole side of I've had a go at him actually, because he was the one who pulled the plug because the side blew off the stadium or something. I was raging. But no, it's funny how things work. But no, that season was amazing. Just really enjoyable. I look back at it all the time, and every year or 6 months, it's like, on this day in 2022, we beat Leicester in the FA Cup, or we beat Bristol away, or you see it on TikTok or whatever it is, Instagram memories or photos that ping up on my iCloud. Oh, I remember this 3 years ago, or whatever. So it's constantly a reminder of that great year, and also the great year in the Premier League. What a year that was, the first year back. Tough, but really, really enjoyable. Made us kind of men, I guess. Certainly changed me in the way I see the game. And I suppose Yatesy and what Brennan's gone on to do, and other boys who have left us and gone on to win trophies and do things. It's just a great learning curve and really exciting and a pleasure to have been a part of.
I'll ask you about a couple of specific games. I suppose the obvious ones. I mean, that shootout against Sheffield United. You're much younger than me, but I was watching when we lost to Sheffield United. It was like the lowest point of me as a Forest fan. What was going through your mind when you're standing in the centre circle and Brees is standing waiting to face those penalty takers, or lads are lining up to take the shot themselves? What's in your head?
I knew Brees is going to save at least one or two. It's just ticking down the order. You're thinking, it's getting close to me now. I think I was.
What number were you?
I think I was 6. I think I was 6. So there was Lolly, who obviously conversion.
Yeah.
And then it was Colback. So if Brees didn't save Morgan's penalty, then I think it was Colback to send us to Wembley. If not, then it was me. But no, we had like a routine. The routine is stand close to the dugout side. If you win the toss, try and kick first. Obviously, we lost the toss, so they kick first. Always stand in front of so when you're in your huddle like this, always like try and creep and be like a yard ahead of the line next to you. So there was a point where we were all huddled and we were creeping, and they started creeping as well. So we're literally getting like closer and closer and closer. So I think the referee had to stop or come over and speak to us, or the lino did, because we're honestly probably about at the edge of the centre circle by the time he told us to go back, which is obviously another thing that people might not know. And every time we took a penalty, we had to get the ball and give it to Brees. And vice versa, when he saved it, he'd come and give it to us, which was, and it worked. It was something that, and also when you're taking a penalty, make sure you take your 2-3 seconds, take a breath, don't go off the whistle. So the whistle would go, and your automatic thing is to run up. You watch Joe Lolley's penalty. As soon as the whistle blows, he can't wait to kick it, and he smacks it over the bar. But everybody else was like Harry Kane, how he stands there, or Ronaldo takes that deep breath. And everybody else did that apart from Joe. And fortunately for him, we had Brees Samba in there. So that's the end of that. But what a game that was! Amazing. They were unfortunate, really. If it wasn't for Brees pulling a few saves out the bag, which we've gone on to see him do for a couple of years now at the high level in France. Sheffield were good that year, and we rode our luck at times. The one for me was the away leg when Jack Robinson scored that header late on. If that doesn't go in, the tie's done. But obviously a bit of a scramble. Whoever's lost his man, Brees has come out, maybe been fouled, and they've took a goal back to the City ground and beat us. And it was one of those where you're just standing there, and I'm white as a sheet. There's a photo of us all, and when we've scored, Yatesy, Jed, Cookie, everyone set off, and me, Colback, and Scott, and Lolly's there, like, thank God for that. And I'm just like a ghost. I'm just looking at the sky, like, that was too much for me. We ended up going out afterwards, actually. There's about 5 or 6 of us went out into Nottingham just for a few beers, nothing celebratory or anything, just to... and I just remember sitting there thinking, I felt sick, just physically, like the knot in my stomach didn't go for days. But no, it was a good experience. I won't ever get bored of speaking about that Sheffield United, those ties. They were really, really good games. And Sheffield were, credit to them as well, they were good that year.
Yeah, it was pretty wild, that Heckingbottom tussle with Jed, I remember. Or Brennan, I think it was, wasn't it? Over the throw-in and all that.
It was with Jed, yeah. He smacked it back at Jed, and really proud of Jed not reacting, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because you expect that from Heckingbottom. He's quite lively, and he's quite a jovial character, and he's obviously Yorkshireman and the way he sets up his team. But Jed is... Yeah, he's a quite a funky dude, and he could flip. He could have easily pushed him and got sent off. So I'm pleased that he managed to just laugh in his face and end up beating him.
The final's a really different game. I mean, it was a pretty awful game. Just on the kind of the final few minutes, you know how close you are, managing your emotions, and then the final whistle goes. Can you even remember what that felt like or not?
I think that I've not actually watched the full game back, and I don't intend to because it wasn't a classic. But at the same time, we dominated it. They didn't have a shot. We controlled the ball. There's a clip, actually, I think it was like the 88th, 89th minute, and they took a goal kick, and it's coming straight down my throat, like right, just to go and smash it. And I remember I looked around and there's no one there, and I just laid it off to Yatesy. And I remember watching that back, and I can't remember it during the game. But I remember watching that back after thinking, how have I just done that? Like, normally I'd just go boof and head it, but just set off, and we just dominated the game. Like, Surridge came on, ran the line for us well. Obviously got away with the 2 penalty shouts. Brees's theatrics at the end where he said he was injured. Was he not? It was just all kind of like out of body the last 5-10 minutes of the game, and the whistle goes and sunk to my knees, and that was it. I got whisked away really quick to speak to Jonathan Oates, and I was like in tears, and then he's like, right, you're on the telly. I was like, oh, bloody, it gives a minute. But no, it was amazing seeing friends and family, and Wembley erupt. The noise was amazing, and it was what I'd do to relive that day again. It was absolutely amazing.
I was going to say, can you? I mean, you're lifting that trophy. Is it possible to take that moment in, or does it just engulf you, and you can't even process how big it is for you as a person, your family, the club, the fans, everything?
The best bit was when we walked up to the Royal Box. So you go from the pitch up the stairs onto the balcony, and I remember walking up with Jono, and we're like arm in arm. And I was thinking, this is so cool, like walking past fans and people you've known for years who are sat near the steps. I was just thinking, and I've seen it back, and I just wish Yates who was with us, like the three of us at the front going up, like the Nottingham boys. But no, it was amazing lifting the trophy. Afterwards, the bus journey from Wembley back to Nottingham was absolute carnage. It was brilliant. Some stories to be told later on in life about that. It was great. It was great. Really good memories, and just so pleased that there was a fair few amount of Forest fans that were able to witness and be there for that day. It was certainly go down in history, and I'm really proud that my mates and my family got to see me do something like that. It's pretty cool.
The next few weeks and months were pretty mad, I guess. For us as fans, seeing, we signed another player, and there's all the debate about why we signed all those players, which we had to sign a lot. And then the owners on the Market Square steps saying, this is a new era, we're going to get in Europe. And we're thinking that's crazy. And now it's happening. But that's another conversation. But when you're in the midst of that, are you thinking, what is going on here or not?
Yeah. They didn't even bother locking the door at the training ground, I don't think. It was just like, anyone, you come in if you want. Revolving door, honestly, it was mental. But it's like that because we lost so many players. Loan players were retiring. Players weren't getting given contracts, offered contracts. Players were being sold. So we had to bring in 23, 24 players or whatever. We did all right. I mean, we're down there for large parts of the year. We got thumped about a few places. The one for me was Leicester away. I think that was a disappointing result. Me and Yates were sat on the bench that game, and we're thinking, looking at each other like, oh, dear me, like this isn't great. But no, it was interesting because you see players coming in like Jesse and from United and having a good year at West Ham before, a good couple of years, and thinking, why isn't he signing for West Ham? Like, why is he coming to Forest? And then he didn't particularly play great for us. He scored the goal in the cup, but these kind of players with the nous, all right, they didn't do it on the pitch, but they still kind of like add a little bit because he's Jesse Lingard, he's got profile. So you're in the dressing room with him. So it's like, right, we're not little Nottingham Forest at the bottom of the Championship anymore or League One like we were years ago. We've actually got a bit of pull, and we're signing players like him, and we're signing players like Chris Wood, who's scored 59, 60 goals when he joined us in the Premier League. So we actually are attracting players. Keylor Navas, he's won about 15 Champions Leagues, hasn't he? Like, we're signing players who can do it and have been at the top level. So Serge Aurier, another one, been at the top of the Premier League with Spurs for years, got to Champions League finals. Like, we're signing players who, all right, might not have performed like they would have liked to. Felipe, another one. He was injured quite a lot, but what an impact he had. They all added a little bit at the end, beating Arsenal on the last day or second to last day and staying in the league.
It was an interesting season for you as well. I mean, centre-halves coming off the bench now is fairly common. Amarin seems to do it all the time. Even like 2 or 3 years ago, I don't think it was. You came off the bench about 5-6 times, maybe. It was probably something you weren't used to. Yeah, I should have looked, but it was more. Yeah. Was it a strange season for you in that sense?
Yeah, he should have played me more. Like, simple as that. I used to have difficult conversations with him and speak about. I think I played the first 6 or 7 games, and it got to a point where we weren't performing particularly great, and it was right. Okay, who's copping for this bullet then? And it seemed to be me, Yatesy, or me or Yatesy. To be honest, I'm not going to beat around the bush, and it was difficult to take. And I tried to keep calm and try and boost the lads in the best way I could, but I just felt like if we're going to stand a chance of playing in this division, then there needs to be a little bit of solidity at the back, and he was changing from a 4 to a 5. I don't think he kept the same back 4 or back 5 for 2 or 3 games. It was chop and change all the time, and it was difficult. But it was always, if we were struggling or if there was an injury or something, it was like he'd look at me and go, "Yeah, right." So it was like, right, okay, tin hat on again, straight back in, and that's the way it was. And I'd run through a brick wall for Nottingham Forest. I absolutely would. But I found it difficult at times to do the same for him.
Was that really difficult second season then? Because there was a game against Villa where you weren't in the squad. Was that a difficult moment in your relationship with the manager then?
Absolutely, yeah. It was really difficult. It was something that was hard to take at the time, and I probably should have spoke to Tatey, his assistant, and speak about different ways of approaching it and the way I wanted to be and the impact I wanted to have on the team. But it was just, I felt like I'd had the rug pulled from beneath me, to be honest, and it was something that proved to be right because we beat Villa. So that was that. So I had no leg to stand on. It was, yeah, we had some great times. We had some absolutely great times, but yeah, it was a little bit of a sour ending, but that's the way football goes. And I don't have many regrets, to be honest. Like I said, I always speak my mind and I am who I am. But at the same time, there are little slithers of that season, especially just before Christmas. I was going through a bit of a sticky spell on the pitch and also off it with different bits. So I felt like I could maybe have been a little bit different, but also I felt like I needed somebody to support me at that time, and he certainly didn't.
I want to talk about Burnley. I just want to ask you one more question about leaving Forest. I mean, you referenced there a difficult time. You had the awful situation with your uncle after before the Chelsea game, which was probably your best performance for Forest. But with stuff you referenced, was there a time where you thought, actually, a moment where you thought, oh, actually, I do need a fresh start, really?
Yeah, definitely. Not so much. I don't know. It's difficult because at the time you're thinking, no, I'm fine. Like, I'm all right. I'm just getting through it. I'm tough. I can do this. But yeah, it all came to like a kind of a narrow, like the funnel kind of just closed in. It all came together all at one point. Things with the manager, things with the way I was playing, things off the pitch, everything just came to a funnel. And it was strange because I'd only just signed a new contract. It sounded like a 2.5-year contract. So I was thinking, right, great, let's crack on. But it's just funny how you just never know what's going to happen. And yeah, it was one of those where I'm just really, really grateful for the opportunity I was given for over 200 games for Forest to play all different levels with different players, with the staff, the people around the club who just never ever get a mention. Unbelievable people at that place, like Nottingham born and bred. Love doing the work, love doing the job, and come in every day with a smile on their face. And they are the people that make the club tick. And it was just a pleasure to be around them because I related to them. You know, they're from Notts. They went to the same schools and did the same things, and they just know how it works, how the city works, and how much it means to them was something that was a massive driving force for me. But it was the time to leave, and I'm just glad that I was still like worth something to the club as well. So they were able to sell me for something, and I kind of, in a way, gave a little bit back to them as well because Forest has stuck by me. The fans have been absolutely amazing. The owner was really good while I was there, and the managers that I've had had enjoyable times with them. So it was nice to leave on a good note in the end, I feel. And also the media team gave me the opportunity to speak and do a little video. Colin Frey put something together, which if I watch it now, bloody sob, because it was really touching. I loved it because I love Carl. He's great. So that's I just look back with pure happiness of my time at Forest. I really do.
How's it been at Burnley then? Because you went in, you were in the team, and then you get an injury, and then they concede. Like, I mean, it's like watching mid-90s AC Milan under Sacchi. They don't concede a goal. So how was that first season for you with Burnley?
It's really enjoyable. Like you say, I was played pretty well. We went to Ellen Road, took 3 points off them. Drew against Blackburn at home. I think Andy Vyman scored an absolute rocket in a big derby game at our place. And then we beat Portsmouth at home, and 10 minutes to go, I clear the ball and break my foot, and that was me done for 12 weeks. So it's just one of those. I'm like, oh God, just got going again. I'd like been at Forest, out the team, go to Besiktas, come back, not wanted, move to Burnley. Right, great, let's go. And then 3 games in, it was like bang. So that's just how my year was last year. But again, sort of played a different role. So as Yates this season, where all right, you're not playing, but I know how the league works. I know how to get out of it. All right, I've only done it once, but I feel like I know how to gel players together that might be from different places, because that was constantly what it was at Forest. It was new players all the time. So I'd like to think I'm pretty good at that. So Parker was kind of like very supportive of me being a leader within the dressing room and around the place. And again, last 10 minutes of games, 7 or 8 times this year, I've come on, chuck me on, head on a stick, get rid of it, clear it. Playing a back 5, playing a back 4. That's win at all costs and don't concede. And the lads have done a bloody good job of doing that, to be honest. I think we're 16. The record was 29, I think, in the second division, 30 in the championship. And we conceded 16, so slashed it in half. And we're unbeaten in 34, and we still didn't win the league somehow, which is amazing, really. And credit to Leeds, because they were good this year as well. They can score some goals, they can, in the championship, that being said. But we had a great year, and Burnley's a fantastic football club, Forest-esque in a way, the working class, nice people, honest, northern, and right on my street.
How are you feeling about next season then for you and the team? It feels like a big season, Burnley bouncing back. Do you feel like they're equipped to do well, having learned some lessons and come up under with such a good defensive record?
Yeah, I mean, they've done it before a few years ago. They had that big long stint in the Premier League under Dyche, and then they've come down. Company's got them back up and gone back down again. So they can only learn from what they've had in the last 18 months, 2 years. So I think the chairman and owners, Mr. Pace and the rest of the group are very, very wealth of knowledge in the game now from the experiences they've had in such a short time. Will set us in good stead. And it's difficult. We're going to have to spend money. Like it's just, you're just going to have to do that. We're going to have to bring players in. Players are going to have to leave. But it's finding that fine tune of how you get a beat out of a team, and we did it, bringing in 23, 24 players somehow, and hopefully we can do that. Maybe not bringing in that volume of players, but I'll certainly play my part next year, whether it be speaking to people or on the pitch, which I hope it very much will be.
I should have asked you about Besiktas. I mean, you had a loan at Rangers, which is a huge, club with very vociferous fans. I guess Besiktas is the same. What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, it was good. It was again an amazing experience to go and play there. Istanbul's a fantastic city. The Turkish people are lovely. The food was great. The weather, the climate was something that we're not used to in Nottingham. It was really good, really good. The footballs either really good or a bit sketchy, and the pitches don't help. The stadiums are amazing. You've got like 40,000 seat stadiums with 3,000 fans there. It's quite strange, but it was a great experience. And there's some good players in that league. There are some good players, but and as you see, Galatasaray, Fenerbahce, Besiktas, when they come into Europe and they play the games, they're tough teams to beat. And there's a lot of big names that go out there, players and managers. So it was certainly an experience. I'm not in a massive rush to go back, to be perfectly honest, but it was good for 3 or 4 months.
Talking of going back, I mean, I'm getting way ahead here, but Andy Reid's back, Lewis Graben's back. Would you ever see yourself back at Forest in some capacity or not?
I mean, I'm sure I will be one day, whether it be as a fan, as somebody who's doing a commentary or whatever. I'm still undecided about. I mean, I'm 28. I've still got hopefully another 200-300 games in me. I want to milk every single ounce of footballing ability and money and everything out of my career, because it's so short and you just never know what's around the corner, as we said. So done my coaching badges, or doing my coaching badges, B license. So we'll see. I might be managing alongside Grabs in 5 or 6 years. Who knows?
It is a long way out, but would you like to be a manager then? I mean, you've had we've spoken there about difficult experiences, good experiences. It's something that potentially interests you way ahead in the future, I know.
Yeah, I think so. I think I'd be pretty good, to be honest. I'm quite honest, and the way I see the game is quite simple. So I think at what level, I don't know, but I'd like to give it a good go. I don't normally win trophies in my first year, but I do in my second. So that's
any final message to Forest fans? Anything you would like to convey to them before we let you go?
No, just thanks for having me on, Matt, for a start. It's nice to be on it. I've seen you, Flex, like we spoke about before. Lou, Kelv, or Gary Birtle's on, Temps. So I'm well aware of the podcast. So I'm really pleased to be on it. But Forest fans, it's just amazing this year what everybody's been able to witness at the City Ground and also away from it. And you don't know how lucky you are seeing Forest at the top of the table. It's something that is unexpected, especially at the start of the season. But we're all in the same boat. We're riding the wave. We can't get too down if we miss out. But at the same time, we need to lap it up if we do make it. So it's one of those where just enjoy it, because things change so quick, and it's just really nice to see Forest up back where they belong. And I'd like to see Yates get on the end of a cross and score the winner against Chelsea. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'll be a magic. I was going to ask you then, we talked about this all week. What's going to happen on Sunday? Are we going to win, and then can we rely on anyone else to slip up or not?
To be honest, I've got no interest in anybody else. I just fancy us at the City Ground. I think if it was anywhere else, you play away, it's difficult. But last game of the season, if something's riding on it, but at home, it suits us down to the ground. Especially against somebody who is in and around it. Direct competitor. It's certainly something that Chelsea will be a real good test, because, like I said before, they've got some real good players. But at home, City Ground, it's meant to rain, isn't it? I was going to say if the sun was out, then it'd be great. But we'll see what happens. But I fancy us.
Brilliant. Well, it's been wonderful to have Joe on as ever. Do us a favour, if you've enjoyed this, and if you haven't, I'm disappointed in you. Do us a favour, hit like, hit subscribe, do consider membership or Patreon, or just a lovely 5-star review on Apple or Spotify. We'll be back tomorrow with an opposition preview, then a post-match show to celebrate, hopefully, Champions League football. But a celebration nonetheless, because it's been an unbelievable season. So yeah, thanks to Joe. Really appreciate him coming on. Have a good day, everyone. And if we don't see you tomorrow, we shall see you soon.